Hi guys, it's another video from Pit Lane's Sim Racing. Please make sure you're hitting those reactions on the video. We've had the NASCAR 21 Ignition 1.4.1.0 patch and their Q&A. I'm going to very quickly go over the patch notes, discuss my issues with it and their Q&A. They've done some minimal hardware improvement fixes for Thrustmaster wheels on the PlayStation, and also on PC. Fanatec CSL Elite pedals were appearing inverted, they're not anymore. They've added Matt Mills to the driver roster, a little stability issue for the PC only, and they fixed a couple of AI issues where they would trigger endless yellow flags or stop themselves from pitting after multiple yellow flags. And they've fixed a couple of UI issues, one being temperatures being reported in Fahrenheit when set to metric, fixed an issue that would prevent a message being displayed when a controller became disconnected, fixed an issue that could cause the fuel light to incorrectly turn on after a caution, and fixed an issue that was causing fuel light to remain on after refueling. Fixed an issue that was causing the cockpit lap counter to not increase. Fixed the grill tape HUD option so that it increases when navigating right and decreases when navigating left. And removed the redundant crown icons from online lobbies. They've added stages and implemented corner cutting penalties. Fixed an issue that was preventing the relative leaderboard from being correctly updated after a caution. And fixed an issue that could cause players to be stuck in the garage after disqualification. In practice, fixed an issue that could cause player car to be damaged at the start of the practice session. And in career, fixed an issue that could prevent career contracts from being offered to the player in some circumstances. And fixed an issue that could cause qualifying order for a career race to be lost. Multiplayer added private party sessions, and you've got to have a minimum of 6 players for that, which I mean, I don't even know why they've done that. It makes no sense whatsoever. It's been a bit of a joke within the community, try and find 5 other people that want to play this with you. So honestly, that private party session with a 6 minimum is basically redundant. Added a brief period of AI control at the start of online races to mitigate instances of players swerving at the beginning of the race and causing collisions. And fixed an issue that was preventing players from rejoining their friends after disconnection. Now, I'm wondering whether that would work in single player as well, because I can't be the only one that's had the swerve right issue after a caution. Fixed an issue that would cause visual artifacts to appear in the shadow at the rear of player car. And PC only settings fixed an issue that would cause the game to crash after changing the resolution. And menus, fixed duplicate inputs being recorded on some menus, and fixed an issue that could cause the camera to pan around while navigating the pause menu. Now, let me have a moment there. That isn't enough, Motorsport Games. I've been one of the few commentators and creators that I've seen, in fact, probably the only one, that's been giving Motorsport Games the benefit of the doubt and optimism, because I feel like the other intellectual property and licenses that they have on board, I felt like they were aware of the weight of getting this one right. And in this evidence, I feel like they're not really. Because not only are you destroying the trust that you might have had for NASCAR, people are looking at the success or not of this title for forthcoming titles that you have. And I think that's really, really sad. That's really, really sad, both for the consumer and you guys. But despite the Q&A stuff and saying that it's going to be supported until the middle of this year coming up, if the patches are this small, I don't see how it could get fixed by even that point. Now, for the Q&A, right, I'm pretty much going to ignore those patch notes, because they're not good enough, right? And I'm gonna delve into why they're not good enough in a moment and give you an example. But the Q&A, it's brilliant to have a Q&A or a town hall session where developers answer questions from the community. But it is absolutely insane to have one if all of the answers are you're going to investigate and they'll maybe be in the next game. Like, nearly all of the answers, bar one from memory, were saying, look at the next game. The next game, we'll see if we can do it. You haven't given the consumer one game yet. Like, I tried to play this game on stream the other day, and I really tried to be positive about it, and you just can't. There's so many quality of life things that need fixing. So honestly, Motorsport Games, I appreciate the dialogue and the time to do a Q&A or a town hall, whatever you want to call it, but have answers. Don't be politicians about it. Be honest about it. Yes or no. Are these things going to happen? And all of them, pretty much all of the answers were maybe or maybe not. So it was basically you sat through 20 minutes of a Q&A and came out the other end with no answers. And, you know, nice words and stuff can only do so much. You have to sort of prove it. And now I'm not like being harsh for the sake of it. I'm positive that the developers and everyone at Motorsport Games cares. I'm positive of that. You're only human and you care about the work that you put out. But this has damaged your reputation. For me, not so much that I wouldn't buy another title in the future, but I'd say a huge percentage of your market are now massively put off. Fortunately for you, a lot of people waiting for the British Touring Car game aren't aware of this release. So you'll probably get away with it with a British Touring Car game and you'll get some initial sales. But if it's as bad as this release, you will destroy that trust. And I'm just warning. I'm just warning because I'm one of the optimistic people. I'm one of the optimistic fans. Now, right, apart from that, I just want to demonstrate something, okay? Demonstrate something that it's just so core and fundamental, okay? So here we are in the game, okay? And this is just absolutely necessary and core. What is this? What is this that you're doing here? This is not good enough. I don't care if you're working with manufacturers or whatever you're doing, right? This is not good enough, right? That's not good enough. Look at the control. Where can I rebind the controller? Where can I rebind the controller? You know? That's been in games since the year dot, you know? And let's not even start about this, okay? Like, I have a Thrustmaster wheel and I have Husingveld pedals. Nothing can happen. I've got a Thrustmaster shifter. Cannot do anything. That is day one core quality of life. That if you, this is the problem that we've had with Motorsport Games, right? This is just pure core quality of life. It's really simple. It's really simple, and I don't see why you can't. It's just UI. We are aware that you've taken stuff from R-Factor 2 where all of this is possible. So to me, I'm not understanding why this UI can't be changed to rebind controls. Is it a time thing? What is it? It just needs to be done. Like, for this game, it's just such a core thing to rebind buttons, and it's insane to me that that isn't in. And that kind of just shows what the rest of it is like. We've still got AI issues. People are reporting that you don't get points in stages. I've not tested that, but that's just an example of the very basic starter things that you need to be doing. Like, that's just day one. I'm still absolutely baffled at who would okay this. Honestly, it's just such a core thing. I'm still astounded it hasn't been fixed. But you need to do more. Like, you need to do more. They're the kind of changes for this game people expect, not the next game. And while we're at it, charging 50 quid for a game that we both know isn't finished, and your own head honcho guy admitted in that Q&A needs polishing, or said they need to polish games before they release them, and you're charging 50 quid for this, and it's not finished. I mean, I'm a positive guy, and I've really been sticking up for motorsport games and NASCAR Ignition, because I was almost certain that you guys would deliver with this patch. You're making it indefensible. Cheers.